Hello, it's me again. We're looking at the Overwatch patch notes. We're gonna have a look at them. New map, don't care. Hero rework, Sombra. Okay, cool. Damage increased. Okay. Spread reduced. Okay. Number of shots, no, max spread has been increased from 3 to 6. Fine. Reload time decreased. Sure. Hack. 0.75 to 0.65 is a bad change. Stealth cancels when hacking an enemy. Sure. Cooldown increase from 4 to 6 seconds. That's good. Hack res reduced cooldown at 3 seconds if a hack is interrupted over a non-hero enemy is hacked. Okay. The hack warning text will not only appear. Sure. Opportunist removed. I don't know what that even means. Whole stealth rework. If you haven't seen the I'm just gonna alright, I'm gonna assume you know what the rework is by now. I'm gonna go over why this may be one of the worst things I've ever seen added to the game. Essentially, Sombra now has a damage combo that allows her to consistently deal 520 damage consistently over the course of 2 seconds, completely on her own. 520 damage over 2 seconds. That's 260 DPS. 260 damage per second if you're hitting all body shots. If you hit all body shots, you're doing 260 damage per second. If you manage to hit all headshots, you're doing over 520 damage per second. That's over 1,000 damage per 2 seconds if you're landing headshots. That is ridiculous. And you still have perma stealth too. So here's the problem with Sombra, right? Sombra's initial issues was the fact that she had perma stealth, meaning that she could be in stealth forever, which was insanely problematic because it allowed minimal counterplay. So instead of removing that feature from her, they just improved it. They made it even better than it was, because now it's not got a cooldown associated with it. It's just a passive. So it's even worse than it was before. Plus, the turbo boosted her dueling potential. So now she's a perma-invis Tracer. They just put Tracer, but let her be permanently invisible, and she can hack targets and remove their cooldowns before she duels them. This could be one of the worst changes I've ever seen in the game. If you're a tank player, you are not going to play this season. I even said multiple times that last season was probably the worst season of Overwatch we've ever had, and that next season would 100% be worse. And look, I was right. We've seen one change, and I can already promise you it's a worse season. Horrible change. Horrible. Just horrible. Honestly, just horrible. Bunch of shit I don't care about. Damage reduction decreased from 50 to 45%. This will do basically nothing. I don't care. Cooldown decreased from 8 to 7 seconds on Nemesis form. This is a bad change. Ramatra's only strong form is Nemesis form. I think if you wanted to make him a more balanced hero in general, you should have touched his Omnic form, like the staff form, and made that a little stronger. Not made Nemesis form more, or come up more often, because that's where all of his power is. And instead you could have shifted a bit of that power onto his Omnic form, because his Omnic form is useless, and he can't do anything in it. So I think making Nemesis form come up more often is just not a good change. Whatever. Number of shots to reach a max spread increased from 20 to 30. This is Wrecking Ball. This is fine. This is the only change where I genuinely am like, sure, that's okay. It's going to give Ball more killing potential, which is good because he's a horribly horrible hero, especially in 5v5. He's essentially unplayable against decent comps, and especially after the Sombra rework, like, Wrecking Ball is not going to be a playable hero anymore, so this change will do nothing because no one's going to pick him. Zarya got her buff reverted, the one that made her bubble stronger to teammates. The only thing that remained is that bubble is an 8-second cooldown, which is hilarious because that's what the problematic part of the cooldown was. It was not that she got extra charge from it or that the bubble was bigger, it's that she could bubble them more often, which is just not a good, it's like they do not understand their game. Like, the problem was the fact that she could bubble people too often. That was the issue with this change, is that she could bubble people too often. And instead of changing how often she can bubble people, they just reverted all the other buffs to the bubble. Meaning, it's just the old bubble, but she can do it more often. which means it's going to be the same thing it was before, and the same reason it was problematic is because she could just bubble her teammates on cooldown over and over and over again because the bubble came back so quickly. Like, that's what the issue was. The issue was not the increased size or the barrier health. That was not the problem with Zarya. The problem was that she could bubble her teammate, and then her teammate would the bubble would break, she'd get 45 energy, whatever it was. Then she would bubble her teammate, she'd get another 40, she'd 90 energy, and she's only got 16 seconds for this bubble to come back, instead of the 20 that it would before. So then 4 seconds later, or earlier, she can double bubble her teammate again for another 90 charge. Like, that was the problem, is that she could just endlessly bubble her teammates all day because of the cooldown. And that's the only thing they don't change. It's like they're intentionally making the worst changes possible. This is a horrible change. It's just a horrible change. If they wanted to nerf the projected barrier, which they should have changed the cooldown back to what it was. Because this is dog shit. This change is also terrible. Damage reduction increased from 50 to 75% on McCree's roll. Why? I don't know. You can sponge a junk tire now. It just doesn't make any sense. Why are they making these heroes more survivable? We don't need more survivability in the game. There's already too much survivability in the game with how busted support heroes are. There is no reason to make this hero more survivable. He's already got 225 HP, he's already incredibly good at dueling, and he's already got insane damage resistance. Why do you make it even better? This is so dumb. Now we can sponge junk tire, pulse bomb, like everything. Every skill shot that does damage, he can absolutely negate it now because of his 75%. It's fucking stupid. This is such a dumb change. Such an unbelievably dumb change. Horrible change. This might be the only decent change here, but even then, like, it just, deep chill was removed, that's good. Damage per second increased from 70 to 100, sure. Now immediately slows enemies by 40% instead of building up over time. We don't need the slow. Like, Mei doesn't need this 40% slow. This is so annoying. Because the most effective way to use it is to just hold mouse 1 on the tank all day. Like, this endothermic blaster, her mouse 1, is not good. It is in the duel, because people can just generate a bit of distance and then she can't do it anymore. She has to use icicles again. The problem with this is this only affects tank heroes. This 40% is only applicable to tank heroes in 90% of cases. Like, when are you ever dueling a Tracer and then you can use this 40%? When are you dueling a Genji and you can use this 40%? Like, it just doesn't happen. Like, it's so rare, it's pointless. You should just get rid of this. This doesn't make any sense. This is only going to make tank heroes have a worse experience. This is a horrible change again. This is another bad change. This is awful. The only thing that's genuinely good about this is everything apart from this 40%. This is fine. It's a little much, but it's fine. Deep Chill was horrible. 40% is garbage. Torbjörn gets nerfs, thank God. Primary fire recovery increased from 0.48 to 0.51. Overhealth bonus decreased from 175. Again, they don't touch the fundamental issue with the hero enough, which is where the overload grants him way too much survivability. The turret and the deployable has too much HP. It's just annoying in general. Like, this whole hero's problem is that he's so insanely easy to play because the hero plays himself. It's that his projectile size is too big. It's that his turret has too much HP. It's that he's too easy to play. It's that he has too much health. He is just overpowered. They need to get rid of his armor and his HP, and either give him 250 HP no armor, or 200 HP and like 25 armor or something. He can't have all this armor, all this damage, be this simple to play and have overload. It's stupid. It doesn't make any sense. They buffed Break for some reason. Damage increased from 70 to 80 on the whip shot. Doesn't make any sense again. This hero is already problematic. Inspire is already insanely overpowered. You don't need to buff it by making whip shot even better, meaning that she's even better at dueling. It doesn't understand. Like, we shouldn't be adding more damage to the game. We should be removing damage from the game. We're removing healing from the game. There is no reason as to why we'd want to add more damage to the game, especially on the dueling support hero that's built for killing flank heroes and built for killing dive heroes, because dive is already a borderline unplayable comp. I think the only reason they did this buff is because they buffed Sombra. That's the only reason they did this. But this affects way more than Sombra. This is going to make Monkey's life worse. This makes Genji's life worse. This makes Tracer's life a lot worse, because it changes breakpoints. Like, this is such a ludicrously bad change. It just doesn't make any sense. It seems like it was just completely random. There was like no thought process applied to this, because if you thought about it for 2 seconds, you'd realize how bad of a change this is. And it completely ruins the game for flank heroes. Illari, secondary fire healing per second decrease from 120 to 105. It's a good change, but it doesn't address the fundamental problem with the hero. The hero is the problem with the hero is he does too much damage, and the healing pylon does too much. No one ever uses the secondary healing beam. It's pointless. You just put your fucking healing thing down, put your pylon down, and just go DPS. I would say 95% of high-level Illari players just don't use this, because it's pointless. Just put your pylon down and shoot people. There is no reason to heal people with this fucking thing. It's a waste of time. You are better off shooting people, because you gain your ult charge so quickly, right? From shooting people. And then you can pop your ult and win a team fight instead of healing. It's just pointless. It's just so pointless. But Route 66 design changes. There's a before and after. Like, is this before? Okay, so they added some... They changed some geometry. They added some rocks. They removed some clutter. Cool. Right, so did they only change first point? Oh no, they changed some other points though. Like, this is an alright change. It's weird, but... It's actually really weird. I'm fine with it. Like, it is what it is, man. It is. It just removed a bunch of clutter as well. Right, anyway, this patch is fucking horrible. Like, I've been saying for years that every time they've released an Overwatch patch, the patch after the patch is always worse. It's always worse than it was before. Think of how bad last patch was. Horrible. The game was horrible to play. This patch will be significantly worse. I promise you. I promise you. This patch will be worse. And I guarantee when the mid-season patch will be even worse. And the patch after that and Season 8 will be even worse. I promise it. I guarantee it. Guaranteed. Horrible, horrible patch. I'm so disappointed.